Welcome to today's podcast. Ukraine's social entrepreneurship sector is gaining momentum as the country faces the challenges of post-war recovery. We are joined by Viktoria Palahniuk, project manager of the Refugee Council of Lithuania, refugee-led non-profit organization in Lithuania who, together with their partners from Belgium, Greece and Germany, implement the social initiative addressing critical social needs of Ukrainians abroad. Welcome, Viktoria.
Thank you for inviting me.
Could you briefly introduce the Refugee Council of Lithuania? What inspired its creation and what is at the heart of your mission?
I'm Ukrainian originally, but I fled Ukraine since 2022 because of the Russian full-scale invasion. And since 2022, I live in Vilnius in Lithuania, and I work as a project manager at the Refugee Council of Lithuania. And our organization was founded in 2021 as a refugee-led organization. That means that most of our team we are refugees ourselves from Afghanistan, Ukraine, Turkey, and Belarus. And our vision grew from a simple but powerful idea that people with lived experience of forced displacement should not only be recipients of aid, but also leaders of change. So that refugees should not be just objects of the agenda, they should be subjects themselves. And we also stick to this principle, nothing about refugees without refugees. And at the heart of our mission is empowerment of refugees through inclusion. We want to help refugees meaningfully integrate into the host society in Lithuania, and we work through projects that combine entrepreneurship, education, advocacy, community engagement, and dialogue. And we aim at fostering dignity, resilience, and belonging of refugees.
Since 2021, the Refugee Council has already implemented 11 projects with international partners. Which of these initiatives had the biggest impact on the refugee community in Lithuania?
Yeah, each of our projects has touched different areas, from entrepreneurship and access to finances for refugee entrepreneurs to advocacy and storytelling. And our project, The Voices of Strength, gave refugees a platform to tell their stories publicly, shifting the narrative from victimhood to leadership. And I myself, as a refugee, I also told my story through this project. And then I was invited by Villanova University to present my story of forced displacement in a conference in Rome. And during this conference, we also had an opportunity to meet with Pope Leo XIV, and I even did a handshake with him. And we believe as a Refugee Council that story is a powerful advocacy tool for refugees. Behind all these dry statistics are always people and their stories. And so that's why it's so important to tell their stories. We also had other projects as Bridging Financial Gap, where we assessed what are the obstacles for refugees to access finances. And also another project was funded by US Embassy in Lithuania. And through this project, we helped refugees to build network that is so important when they come to foreign country.
And what does social entrepreneurship mean to the Refugee Council in practice? How do you help refugees turn their skills and experiences into sustainable livelihood opportunities?
For us, social entrepreneurship, it means turning this experience and creativity into social value. And many refugees, they arrive with rich professional backgrounds. They're teachers, artisans, designers, small business owners, but often their skills are under-evaluated in the new society. And we provide them with training, mentoring, and partnerships that help transform those skills into valuable ideas, whether it's through small-scale businesses, cultural initiatives, or maybe some digital products. it's not just about income, but also about restoring this agency and self-confidence of people. Because very often refugees come with incredible knowledge and skills, but often lack this access to the market, access to the networks, or simply to information.
The embroidery project for senior Ukrainian women is incredibly inspiring. How did this idea emerge, and what makes it special for both participants and the wider community?
We have now this very touching initiative of collective pattern together with our partners from Belgium, Greece, and Germany, and the Belgium-based consultancy, Heartwarmingly. We decided to meet with senior Ukrainian women and empower them through embroidery, so that they can receive a sustainable source of income in the future. And we always say that alone, like a single thread may be fragile, but when it's woven together, we can create a fabric that is strong enough to last for generations. And so this initiative, it was born from this conversation with senior Ukrainian women who fled the war in Ukraine and now live in Lithuania. And many of them, they carried the embroidery with them, literally stitching pieces of home into the new lives in Lithuania. And we realized that embroidery in both Ukrainian and Lithuanian traditions has always been a symbol of resilience and identity. So we invited these women to become co-creators, so not just beneficiaries. And together through embroidery workshops, art therapy, and storytelling, they started to share their life journeys while creating embroidered pieces that express belonging, loss, but also hope. And it's also healing for them. And embroidery becomes a bridge of cultures and generations, not just an art form, but we also aim to overcome this social isolation and to help them to integrate meaningfully into society. And so we started from listening. We cried together, we laughed together, and we noticed that many senior Ukrainian women in Lithuania, they're actually staying home, isolated, unsure how to integrate, even though they carried amazing embroidery traditions with them. And so we wanted to change them. And together with our art therapists and creative mentors, we designed this collective pattern idea, a pilot project where art can also become both a therapy but also source of income.
That's awesome, thank you. And what are your future plans or dreams for the Refugee Council in the next few years? Are there any upcoming projects that particularly excite you?
Yeah, our dream is to continue building bridges between refugees and whole society in Lithuania through creativity and dialogue. And we are working on expanding our embroidery initiative into a social enterprise where our women could sell their handmade art and gain sustainable income while also preserving their cultural heritage. And we also plan to strengthen partnerships across Europe, especially with refugee-led and women-led initiatives, and continue advocating for meaningful refugee participation in decision-making. And ultimately, our vision is a Lithuania where refugees are recognized as agents of change.
And finally, what message would you like to share with our listeners, especially those who want to support or get involved in initiatives like yours?
Yes, I would say get closer, visit our website or check our social media, volunteer with us, or simply listen to refugees' stories. And the integration doesn't start with policy, it starts with relationship, and every act of curiosity, empathy, or collaboration, it actually matters. And to our listeners who are refugees or migrants themselves, please remember that your story, your skills, and your culture are your biggest strengths. And what you bring is not a burden at all, it's actually a gift. And I also would like to stress that refugees don't only bring their belonging and wait for social benefits from the state. In most cases, they are highly educated people who want to work, pay taxes, and contribute to the economy of hosting countries. And Einstein was also a refugee. So we must fight together against stereotypes, stigma, and growing xenophobia regarding refugees and migrants in today's world. And I believe hope today also means building bridges instead of fences, and choosing solidarity over fear and seeing each other as like human beings, first of all.
Thank you so much, Viktoria, for sharing your inspiring journey with us today. And thank you to our listeners. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories of resilience and innovation from Ukraine.